Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 is in some serious trouble, and here's why. This video is kind of sparked by some stuff that's been going around here on social media and Twitter, the reveal of some new games, some new features. And I wanted to take a bit of a moment here to talk about, how much trouble that Warzone 2 is in by itself already, and then now with all this stuff coming out. So I really don't think it's any surprise that Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 definitely did not live up to the hype. We all thought Modern Warfare 2 was going to be the actual, predecessor to Modern Warfare 2019 and Warzone 1, which in reality it really felt as if Warzone 1 and Modern Warfare 2019 is the predecessor to Modern Warfare 2. Like, it really just kind of feels that way. If you ever go back and play the game, it's like, wow, why is everything in that game so much better in pretty much every aspect? And I'm talking like just from the movement to the graphics to the operators to the bundles to the maps. I mean, like everything, when you can combine it all together, like we've had more than enough time for them to kind of really shape Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2 into being something, and it's fell frankly quite short. And I kind of back that up. I'm sure any guys out there that have actually been playing the game, and you've probably kind of noticed that the player numbers have dropped quite significantly. Modern Warfare 2 had a record launch, but the player drop off was basically off a cliff, and it just really has not gotten back up. No matter if they had done a free weekend or pretty much any update, the player numbers always dwindle right back off because people see that nothing's really changing. There's just a little bit of extra stuff here and there, but it's nothing that's really making the game that much better or more enjoyable to the point where it reminds them of the previous iteration of the game. And I don't want to just sit here and kind of bash on the game, because that's not what I like to do. I love playing the game, but I just kind of am being realistic about it, that it's just not really in a good spot. And they need to have some serious changes, and hopefully some of the stuff here coming out is going to really get their butts in gear to make some actual significant changes to bring the player base back to what it would be. So speaking of that stuff that is going to be coming out, we just had a huge announcement in the last basically day or two of CSGO 2 and also Fortnite Creative with the new Unreal Engine editor. And let me explain why this is a pretty big deal. So I myself have played Fortnite, ever since basically it came out relatively way back in 2017. My channel is largely focused on it there for a while, but I pretty much have strayed away and gone back to Call of Duty exclusively, and I really don't touch it all that much, but I do kind of keep up to date with some of the stuff and the different collabs and everything that they do. And I've noticed with the addition of Unreal Engine editor, they've pretty much given everybody unlimited possibilities on what to create, and it is realistically gonna just do a lot of damage to a lot of games. And how this works in with Call of Duty is that people have actually gone ahead and made Rebirth Island on Fortnite already with the previous Unreal Engine, or that all the tools they had available, and it looked pretty much basically obviously Rebirth but on Fortnite. But now you have the ability with Unreal Engine 5 and the Unreal Engine editor to have everything directly made and playable and shareable within Fortnite. My theory is that within the year we will be playing Call of Duty more or less not on Call of Duty, because that's a beautiful game engine, I will say that right now, and people's creativity, like the people are gonna make what the people want, and what the people want is some of these older Call of Duty maps back, like Rebirth Island, Verdansk, I'm probably not Caldera, but Fortune's Keep. I mean, people want to be able to play those maps, and if they can do it on a game that's going to have that support, they're going to do it. And not even to mention, there's even some base maps that Fortnite has already created, and I saw creators like Courage JD and Ninja basically playing like 2v2 Rust domination on Fortnite, and it actually looks incredible. So that just goes to show that that's just what they've created. Wait till the community actually gets their hands on it. It's going to be kind of ridiculous. Moving over here to CSGO, I'm not the biggest person, I don't follow CSGO all that much. I'm going to keep it a stack, you guys. I don't really follow it all that much, but what I will say and what I will notice is that CSGO large in part takes into account their top players and what they want into the game, because CSGO has been large in part one of the most popular games in the world for the past however many years consistently. And with this brand new game, they pretty much have revitalized and changed everything, which is going to allow people to enjoy CSGO with more up-to-date maps, different overhauls, new features. They're going to be adding in some new stuff, and what they've gone ahead and done is they're not trying to reinvent the wheel and change what's not already broken. They're fixing stuff that maybe isn't all that great. They're adding some new features, but they're taking into account everybody's feedback and ultimately making a game that people really enjoy and that will genuinely be the predecessor, unlike how Warzone 2 is with Warzone 1. And some of you guys out there may be kind of even thinking to yourself, okay, well, CSGO is not Call of Duty, and neither is Fortnite, no matter how much you want to kind of, integrate it or kind of mimic it. No, it's not. But people's, attention spans, like, they're not as loyal to the game anymore as they used to be. Like, if something comes up that's going to look a little bit better, people only have so much time in their day to be able to play the game and be able to watch videos on a game. And if something like Fortnite, for instance, with a brand new, rebirth style map comes out and you can actually play it and it looks beautiful and it functions well, if they can go get their sort of Call of Duty fix on a different game, they're more or less just going to go ahead and do that and not even play Call of Duty in the first place, because the game they're now going to be on will probably be getting better updates and better support than the full, Call of Duty game, which is pretty sad to say. So where does Call of Duty go from here in order to make it so that the game is much more enjoyable to the player base? And in my sort of like educated opinion, as someone that's been playing the game for a long time, is kind of understanding where all the different communities are, they need to quit messing with things that aren't broke and trying to replace it and fix it, because it ultimately ends up being worse. For instance, I'll give one big thing: the menu system, the UI. It's one of the worst we've ever had in a Call of Duty game, and it is frankly a giant cluster of random BS that does not need to be there. Like, it just doesn't make sense that when I load up a game, all I have is just nothing but boxes everywhere on my screen. It just doesn't need to be that way. The system we had within Modern Warfare 2019 was perfect. Why did we change it so much? I'm not going to get into all the nitty-gritty stuff, but let's move on to even just some of the gameplay elements, the movement, the overall fluidity of the game. There's a reason people liked Modern Warfare 2019, and I know you could, basically abuse the movement system to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and there are people that are going to be able to do that if you give them the ability to be able to do so. That is what the, people that go the craziest, will be able to do. That's the highest level. The outliers, the people that enjoy that stuff, they will take it to that level. But in the process of kind of taking all that away within Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2, pretty much you've then eliminated even some of the basic movement capabilities that even a regular player could do, like getting out of a gunfight, maybe potentially slide canceling once or twice, doing something like a reload cancel, for instance. You've taken all that ability away, and it just doesn't make sense to why they even did that. Call of Duty is an arcade first-person shooter, not some sort of mil-sim tactical thing. No matter what anyone wants to call it, it is an arcade first-person shooter at its core. That's what it was brought up as, created as, and this is what it is. We don't need to be slowing it down to the point where everything feels slow as molasses and you're running around with, lead-filled boots. Also, what goes hand in hand with the fluidity and the movement of the game is the general, time it takes to do stuff. Like calling in a kill streak took forever. Mantling over something takes forever. Your sprint to fire time. Like, things were drastically slowed down that did not need to be. And I don't know who they thought they were catering to, because I know they were trying to cater to a specific audience, which is probably large in part the super casual player, and the person that's just going to get off work, go home and play, a few hours a week or whatever it may be. But I think the audience they're trying to cater to, they just kind of missed the mark entirely. And it's pretty clear by the player numbers that even the people they're trying to cater to, like, they just don't play the game anymore because it's not fun. Like, Al Mazrah is big, it's full of BS, the map is cool, the map is actually well designed. It's just how the game plays which makes it really not fun. If you put this map on Warzone 1, I feel like we'd probably be having an entirely different discussion. And then as far as post-launch support goes, like the content, the maps, the different updates, they need to, stop, bringing stuff in, switching it out every few days. I think we had solos in Warzone for like 3 days. We got it back for a little bit, then they took it out again. It's like, I don't understand why you were doing that. They said all the modes were going to be available at launch, and they clearly were not. We had quads, and maybe we got quads and trios, then we got quads and solos or whatever, and they took solos out after a few days. Like, we just do not need to be doing that. And I'm not sure how difficult it is even for multiplayer to get like regular content, but like, for real, how difficult is it to provide some good 6v6 maps that are not just ripped out of Warzone and stuff like that? Like, we have pretty much a large majority of the maps in the game are all just ripped from different spots of, the bigger map. I literally think they got their first original map here within this season, and that is kind of disgusting. And lastly, I just want to say that Infinity Ward, or whatever they're doing, they need to get rid of their vision or what they had for this game, because clearly it is very evident that they missed the mark entirely, and they need to give the people what the people want, because ultimately the people play the game, and the game doesn't succeed if people don't play it. And we're not going to buy stuff if the game's not fun and people don't buy the season pass, the bundles, the operators. And when people don't buy that stuff, they don't watch the videos on it. So the entire ecosystem is based on what are these guys creating? And frankly, they're creating something that's just kind of bad. So please, Infinity Ward, Raven, give the people what they want, make a good game, and hopefully we can see some good changes and Call of Duty can get to being what it should have been upon launch, because there is some giant competition coming through, and Call of Duty as a franchise will suffer greatly if these other studios and dev teams give all this creative freedom and ability to be able to create stuff, and then slowly, one by one, people are going to start leaving the game to go play other stuff, because it'll be a better Call of Duty experience not on Call of Duty.